No fancy lead-ins, run-ups, or segues today, everybody. Liz and Junior here from RE/MAX Diamond Realty, and I want to spend as much time as we possibly humanly can on tonight's topic, ladies. Rent to own when it comes to property.
Yes.
I always thought of rent to own as like, like furniture stuff. I mean, there's a couple companies around here that do that kind of thing, but that type of arrangement is available in property, right? Is it called rent to own?
Well, people call us and they say, what's available because we want a rent to own. And I think they don't quite understand the process. They think that rent to own is, let me pay my rent and you're going to apply my rent towards the purchase of the property. It's not that simple.
Yeah.
The terminology that we use is lease with option to purchase. So for example, if you wanted to buy a home, but before I get into that, I want to bring up, because our market is strong right now, it's a seller's market. How many properties are out there that sellers want to do a lease with option to purchase? There are not that many. So
if at all.
If at all. So we're getting all these calls. If they could sell it for cash, why would they want to go through this process? Unless there's a tax issue and they want to take a while before. So the process is normally, if you want to so-called rent to own, there's normally option money. So for example, if you wanted to buy a condo and they're willing to go through this process, you need option money, and it's non-refundable. So for example, $10,000, $5,000 or $10,000 is option money, right?
That's the standard practice, is that it's non-refundable. And we want to stress that everything is negotiable, but that's the standard.
This is almost like stock securities when you have your options. You're actually purchasing somewhat of an insurance policy to secure that you can buy in the future if you wish.
So the option money, right? The option money is giving you the right to buy it in a future date.
Right.
That's right. So you put your option money down. They hold that. It's non-refundable. Your lease would say, for example, a year or let's say 2 years. That 2-year window allows you to go through the process of getting your loan. So it buys you time. So during that 2-year window, your lease option, you're renting the property. So for example, if you're renting it for $1,800, for example, you're renting it for $1,800. Depending on what was negotiated, part of that could be used towards your purchase price. So they may apply, let's say, half of that towards your purchase price, or a 20%. It's just up to what's negotiated.
What's negotiated.
Yeah, between.
Because I've heard people use that before. It's like somewhere, 5 years down the line, they were like, you know what? Can we make a deal? I really love this neighborhood. My kids are growing up here nice, and I know as my landlord, you're getting a little bit older. I would actually like to take this off your hands, but would you take all the rent I've been giving you to this point into consideration? As and then it becomes
it's a negotiated item. But
that seems to be like the best peace of mind for both buyer and seller. They both come out winning.
It depends on the circumstances.
Especially if they have a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
If they have a mortgage, they may be paying $1,500 as the mortgage, and the only difference they have left to play with is the balance. So again, at the end of the 2-year window, if they exercise their option, they should have everything in order prior to the expiration of of the lease period, and they should have their loan in order to execute. If they change their mind or default on it, the option money is non-refundable. The rent credit is non-refundable.
And the thing is, what we're trying to stress is, and this is what we want to, put out there to the audience, is that it's a seller's market. So if the seller wants to sell their property, if they put it on the market right now, it's going to sell really quick. So why would they enter into a lease option? I've seen it happen because maybe it's a family member, okay?
Yes.
So it's a family member. I'm going to give you that consideration. I'll give you a couple of years to figure it out and go to the bank. The other thing that I stress with the buyers is, wait a minute. I don't know that waiting 2 years is for your benefit. The interest rates are ridiculous right now. I want you to lock it in at 4%.
Right.
I bought property, a while back, and I don't have any mortgages that are below 7%.
Or what happens if I'm your tenant, and say I'm working at a particular company and I'm making good but not great money, and then I have a career change, and now all of a sudden I'm making really, really good money, and I'd be like, I really love this place and everything like that. I would like to make this my home forever. Can we work something out? Because now I can afford. Now
Well,
at least that's my option.
Yeah. So for somebody in your category, I'd say, listen, get to the bank,
Get pre-qualified.
get pre-qualified, and just close it out right now.
Okay.
Because
rather
there's-
than wait.
Yeah, there's a number of things that could go wrong. I find that when sellers can't sell their property, maybe it's overpriced or maybe the condition's poor. If I, as a seller, cannot sell my property for those two reasons, maybe I overpriced it and I don't want to bring it down because I'm just stubborn, and I am.
Yeah.
Then
No.
yes.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, but
are you a Taurus? Because I am.
But just bear in
No,
mind
but I'm
too.
stubborn.
Okay.
Bear in mind too. Once you lock the price, even if she's saying it's overpriced, once they lock the price in a lease option, for example, at the end of the 2-year period or whatever the period is, that price stays. If let's say the market drops, that price remains fixed.
The market goes up, it remains
It remains
fixed.
fixed.
But let's say today in this seller's market, I still have my property a little bit overpriced, or it's not in really good condition, so people are not attracted to it. That would be an option. I would say, listen,
Yeah, do it
I
that
still
way.
want this price, so I'm open to a lease with option of purchase. So I'm going to go out there and advertise, and I'll tell you, I will grab somebody because there's a lot of people for one
Right.
reason or another cannot get a loan right now, even though it's for their best interest to get a loan right now, the way the interest rates are. But if they can't, for whatever reason, they need a year or two to perhaps clean up their credit.
Credit, exactly.
Or perhaps save up that closing cost that
closing
they don't
costs.
have. Then this is a great opportunity. But as a buyer, keep in mind, the only reason you're able to get this product is because it's probably overpriced or it's not in good condition. So now you're buying time to fix it up yourself because
Exactly.
the
Right.
seller's not doing it.
Oh, okay. And as my realtor, I appreciate the fact that you said you're a little bit